Why mock questions are the secret to passing your fitness exam. Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching and a warm welcome to today's tutorial. I hope you're here because you're currently working towards an exam of some kind. That is ideally a fitness exam for level 2, level 3 anatomy and physiology or level 3 nutrition, but it can be any exam at all and this will certainly help you. Today we're going to unlock your exam success by using mock questions effectively and following a simple 3-step formula. So let's head into today's presentation. That the power of mock questions is quite crucial to your journey as a Fit Pro or in any exam that you might be doing. And that's because it helps set the standard of what you need to know, and it also helps you understand what to expect. We found over, the last 15 years in parallel coaching that mock questions have become a really good hinge point to help people understand about their revision and get their revision on course effectively. What we do often see, though, is that people often use mock questions incorrectly, which end up actually hindering their process. So it can be really helpful, but you have to use them properly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to use mock questions for your fitness exam to gain the confidence you need in order to pass. Mock questions will help you learn, not just memorize. And this is probably the key difference that we're going to talk about today. It's not about memorizing the answers on these mock questions. It's about using it as a learning tool. Your exam revision should include simulation of the exam and not just learning the facts. And that's because quite often when people get questions wrong in an exam, they're maybe not reading the questions properly, or maybe they're just not understanding how the question format works. And that might sound simple, but you could go and memorize loads of facts. But if you can't understand the type of question you're going to get on exam day, then those facts become futile. So this is a really nice combination to bring together your revision. And most people are using these mock questions incorrectly because they try and memorize and they also try and just learn the facts of their revision rather than trying to blend their revision of content and also their revision of how to actually do the exam and actually go through the exam strategy itself. So there are common mistakes that trainees make. Now, by trainees, we mean trainee Fit Pros, because that's predominantly who we work with here at Parallel Coaching, but you might be using this video to help you with something else, and that is absolutely fine. There are 3 common mistakes that trainee Fit Pros will make when using their mock questions to revise for their exam. I've alluded to these already. Number 1 is memorizing the answers instead of understanding the concept behind it. Number 2 is doing mock questions in isolation without context or review. This is a really biggie. So let's just say you download the 50 mock questions and you do all 50 mock questions, and then you go, oh, I got 50% correct. And out of that 50%, you go, oh, I'm rubbish, I can't do it. And you just go, okay, well, I'll go and look for another set of mock questions, and I'll go and do those, and I'll go and do another set of mock questions. But you don't actually take the time to review and look for the trends in the questions that you did get right or wrong so that you can make improvements going forward. And that's a really common mistake. Number 3 is not reviewing the results effectively. So even if they do look over it, they end up going, oh, it's all the muscle stuff, or it's all of the energy system stuff, and they're not actually thinking about what they need to change ready for their exam or for their next mock paper that they're going to take. So avoid these mistakes and get the most out of your mock questions with these 3-step process. So step number 1 is to highlight knowledge gaps. That's really important. It's the first thing you're going to do. So once you've downloaded the mock questions that I'm going to share a link with you for, you basically are going to do a chunk of mock questions. That could only be 8 questions, 10 questions. It doesn't have to be all of them. It's not about doing a huge amount of them, but do a chunk. And do these under timed conditions so that you understand what it's like to feel that constraint from a timing point of view that you've probably got on your exam. Now, the best way to simulate that is to think about the number of questions that you have for your exam. For example, in the level 2 anatomy and physiology, on the one that we provide here at Parallel Coaching, it's 50 questions, but 105 minutes. That works out as just over 2 minutes per question. So if you're doing a mock exam, and let's just say you're only testing yourself on 10 questions, you want to give yourself 20 minutes to do those 10 questions. That might sound like a really simple bit of maths, but it is that simple, and it'll allow you to just set the alarm on your phone, and then from there you can go, right, I've got my timer, I'm going to work on my 20 minutes, and it's 20 minutes of concentrated under timed conditions. It will change how you look at those mocks. It might make you freak out a little bit, but it's good to recognize that. And also it helps you feel like it's an exam situation rather than being distracted by a phone ringing or going out and doing something. You can just concentrate on that one thing. Now, once you've done the exam and you've checked through your answers, you're going to use it as a diagnostic tool to pinpoint your weak areas. And you're going to focus on the topics you struggled with. And this will then help guide your revision later, and highlight if the issue was wording or knowledge. Now, this is really important. So as you look through the questions that you completed, let's just say you got 2 of the 10 wrong, and you look at it and go, I know that was the answer. Chances are not a knowledge issue. These are distinctly different. If you get several wrong as a result of wording issues, whereby maybe you're just not reading the question properly, or it's not making sense, or maybe you're relating it to something that you've memorized previously and you've almost changed the question in your mind, then it's not a knowledge problem because you knew the answer. The problem was interpreting the question itself. So when you go through and you look at the trends on your mock questions and on your mock paper, make sure you check, is it a wording problem or is it a knowledge problem? Because you might look at some answers and go, yeah, I didn't know that one. That's a knowledge problem. You look at it and go, I did know that, just didn't read it properly. It's a wording problem. And you want to look for those trends. Are you getting more wording problems or more knowledge problems? And if they're knowledge problems, then are they in specific areas? Are they all muscles? Are they all musculoskeletal system? Are they all nervous system, etc.? These key differentiations are going to help sculpt the rest of your revision, because you can then put more information and more time into those harder areas of knowledge, but you can also spend time learning how to read the questions. Okay. So there's your knowledge gaps. Step number 2 is to learn from your mistakes. Now, it's a common phrase, isn't it? Learn from your mistakes. We all get that, but it's actually quite hard to interpret that and then put that into action for a lot of people. It's sometimes easier to look at something that we got wrong and go, I was stupid with that, or talk yourself down. And actually, you don't need to do that. You've just got to look at it and go, the facts are, I got this question correct, and the facts are I got this question incorrect. Then when you look at the reason why, you can then understand and learn from that mistake. So don't just memorize the correct answers of, if it's one about the heart, then the answer is always the pulmonary artery, for example, because they can just reword that question and then it won't be, the answer won't be pulmonary artery, for example. So make sure that you review the mistake that you did make carefully, so that you're actually just you're not memorizing the answers of what it should have been, but instead you're really thinking about the content and the knowledge alongside. Understand why you got the question wrong, and then go and strengthen that concept. So that links to what we were talking about a moment ago, and use your course materials to fill in those gaps. That could be course materials that you have yourself. So maybe you're working from a manual, maybe you're using video tutorials, or if you need more help with that, then please do check out our revision boot camps, because they are designed to help prepare you for your exam, and they will fill in those knowledge gaps. And there's also help in there about how to read the exam questions properly. Most importantly, when you're learning from your mistakes, please stay positive and don't bury your head in the sand. It's really, really important. Don't just gloss over it and go, I'm going to ignore the muscles, I'll be all right. And also, don't sit there and tear your hair out with anxiety, worrying that you're going to be rubbish on exam day, because it doesn't do you any favors. Try and stay positive. Try and consider the improvements you're making every single time that you redo your exam mock questions, and also look for progress rather than perfection every single time. That's really important. Step number 3 is to repeat and track your progress. So I was just talking about progression. The progression that you make is key. So stay positive and focus on those improvements. You're going to probably do a mock exam, basically review it, then you're going to do some more revision, and then you're going to go and do another set of mock exams. And you'll find on the ones that you can download from us, they're in sections, they're in chunks. So you might just do 8 to 10 questions, which are one chunk. And then that gives you time to go away, have a look at your content, and then come back and do another set several times over. Also, you want to track how many mistakes you made and aim for fewer mistakes every single time. Or if you want to look at that more positively, how many you got correct every single time. And then relate that back to the pass mark for your exam. Most fitness exams are 70%. There are a few that are 80%. So make sure you know which one is relevant for you. And then you can just work that out based on the results that you get on your mock paper. So if you've got 10 questions and you get 7 correct, then you're at the 70% pass mark already. It doesn't matter that you got 3 wrong, but as much revision as you can do that starts working on those errors, the better you'll feel going into your exam. And you're going to notice your improvement in confidence and accuracy the more that you keep repeating this process of doing the mock paper, looking for the trends and reviewing your content, and then after that doing a bit of targeted revision and working on those weak areas and then doing it again. Really important 3-step process. Now, the science behind mock questions is really important, and they are a crucial part of your revision strategy before you do any exam at all. And this is why they work so well, for 3 particular reasons. First of all, it's active recall, so it engages memory and strengthens knowledge. Exams often get hard knocks, don't they? They get like a bad reputation for being all about memory, all about hard to remember things, etc. But the more that you do exam questions in various different situations for various different topics, the more it will force you to memorize content and withdraw and recall that information as much as possible. So active recall is a really important skill that you can start building by doing multiple questions. For example, on our Instagram and our Facebook pages for Parallel Coaching, you'll find lots of mock questions on there where we put a couple up every single week that you can go in and just practice the idea of doing questions. Also, it gives you feedback and shows you exactly where to focus your efforts on. And it's simulated exam conditions, so it will help prepare you for the actual exam day. Most people worry about exam day. They get nervous, they get anxious, and that affects their ability to read the questions, and then it can fall apart from there. So the more that you simulate this exam conditions, the more you have an idea of how well you'll do, but it also makes you feel actually it wasn't too bad, and it can help relax you overall. So consider that the art of doing mock questions has lots of other skill sets underneath it that is very beneficial for your overall knowledge and understanding, not just about passing your exam. So if you're ready to boost your exam success, then remember the 3 steps we've spoken about. Remember, you can highlight the knowledge gaps, learn from your mistakes, and then repeat and track that progress over and over again. Start applying the 3-step method with our free mock questions. I've got hundreds for you to download. All you need to do is click the link that is alongside this video and you can access them for free. Track your progress and get ready to pass your exam with flying colours. It's super straightforward. It's all free. All you've got to do is pop your email address in and then you will get those mock questions. We'll then also send you more across on email in the following week or so once you've joined us. So when you're thinking about preparing for your exam, it's so important to know that you're doing everything you can to do it justice. Just like when you first learn to drive a car and you've got to get ready for your exam, you want to know you've practiced as much as you possibly can at every point. So it's really important that we can help you in that journey. And it's also a way for you to reach out if you have any questions at all. So make sure you go and download the free mock questions that we provide. If you've already worked your way through those or you have any questions at all, you can reach out to us using the comments below this video or blog. And don't forget to subscribe alongside our YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Take care.